It Happened on the Job, the podcast for relatable conversations with contractors. Sponsored by Goodman Insurance.
Welcome to It Happened on the Job. My name is Mike. That's Brian, episode 132 today.
132.
Yep.
Yo, it's Brian. Yes, it is. Hey, and today we have Ray Goldsboro, Bonanza Plumbing. How's it going, Ray?
Great. Thanks, guys, for having me out.
The president.
The invite.
Presidente. Thanks for coming out, man. You guys are where? You're Norco, so you're not too far away.
No, we're about 50 minutes away. In fact, driving here, I've been through a lot of job sites I used to do. So
You're like, oh, yeah, there's that one, and there's that one.
exactly. It just comes to my memory.
Do you guys come out to Orange County a bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in Orange County, L.A., Riverside County.
So
we're kind of Southern California. Once we used to do some work in San Diego, but
Okay.
we just concentrated in L.A., Orange County, Inland Empire. Right?
Yeah. Well, and Bonanza Plumbing, we talked about, I think is really unique, and we talked about this last week on the phone. You guys do new residential construction housing in terms of the plumbing aspect, installation, all that. So I don't think we've had anybody in the plumbing.
No, I don't think so.
I was going to say department. That sounds weird. Yeah. In plumbing, that's been on the show in that capacity, which is actually really unique. I think really cool.
Yeah.
From an insurance standpoint, it's a nightmare, and I love that. I think it just makes everything fun, and that's probably why you've been out here quite a bit, because I feel like there's like new housing everywhere in Orange County, and they're all going for like $3 million.
Some of them, yeah. They can get up there pretty high.
Oh gosh, I live in like a 2,000 square foot house, and it's almost 20 years old, and the guy is selling his house across the street from us for $900,000. We have no driveways. We have no yards. We're in a master plan community, and $900,000, man, crazy. Yeah. Anyways, enough of me. If you could just go into the history of how you got into this crazy field and how you got to where you're at today as the president over at Bonanza Plumbing.
Yeah, basically out of high school, I did 1 year at community college in Huntington Beach. And
was that Gold Coast?
Golden West College.
Golden West, yeah.
So
is that where you're from?
Yeah, I went to high school in Huntington Beach area.
Cool.
Graduated. Didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. I had some cool jobs. I worked at the LA Sports Arena for a little bit. Did some concerts as ticket taker, usher.
Yeah.
Just some odds and ends jobs. Since I've been 12, I've been working hard and paper route and stuff like that. But basically 1 year community college, and my friend worked for a plumbing company, and I thought it'd be a cool summer job. I go, hey, do they hire in the summer? He goes, yeah, let me try to get you in. So it was a new construction company. It was out of Orange County, and without even interviewing me, just on the spot, come on down 7 a.m. Monday morning, we have a job for you.
As the president, you know that's a real safe way to hire people, right?
Yeah, right. So us contractors, we're not if you can breathe and show up on time, it's kind of like you got your foot in the door. So I showed up. I don't know anything about plumbing. Plumbing to me is a mystery. I've never put one and two together. Like how does it work?
Right.
So I'm basically drilling holes all day, spreading stuff.
Gopher boy.
Yeah, I was an athlete, so they have a fab yard. I'd run to the fab yard to get some parts and run back. So save, hey, give me a combi, give me this, give me that. So, it was cool. It kept me busy for the summer. And then after that summer, I was still in junior college. So I went back for another semester, and I'm like, man, that wasn't too bad. I don't know what I want to do, but plumbing seemed to interest me. I'm learning a trade. I just did it one summer, but I learned a lot, and I'm like, man, this is cool. So
you're not in an office all day long, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I could take my shirt off, get a tan. In the days you're able to do that. No hard hats like they do now, and safety goggles and boots, and it was just kind of fly by night. You wear shorts, and so I thought it was a cool job for the summer, and then went back, asked if I can get my job back in the winter because I didn't really know what I wanted to do in school. So come on back. So I just came back and worked for a bunch of different guys, same company, but different foremen. If they liked you, they'd keep you on the job. Yeah. Progressed. They offered to take some code classes. It was ROP school. So I'm like, that would be cool, because then I could start learning why this plumbing is the way it is. Why
how it all works and how it goes together.
It's sized the way it is, how it's put together. It's a science to it, and there's reasons why. And I wanted to kind of progress and move up the ladder, so I took 2 years of ROP school in Orange County here. The boss paid for the books, and the class wasn't very much. It was almost free by then at that time. Now you have to pay for everything. But I learned a lot in 2 years. I learned a lot.
I imagine, yeah.
By the time I came out of there, I'm like, man, I know more than they said you're going to know more than like 90% of these guys in the field. So I'm like, yeah, I want to run some work. I want to be a foreman. I want to progress. By that time I got married, getting ready to have a kid. So I'm like, yeah, I want to be a foreman. They put me in a foreman position. Right away, I worked hard, hustled, did the best I could. We ended up doing the same houses that I was a journeyman on, was another phase in Stanton. They did the exact same houses. It's production plumbing. Yeah. So I'm like, I know these, no problem. I can do this. So I did it, progressed, did some more jobs. This was like 94. And then a framer on the job site noticed I worked hard. I would stay late, make sure things are ready for the next day. Just wanted to, I don't like being unprepared.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, my brother-in-law wants to start a plumbing company. Would you be interested in working for him? So I go, okay, but he was a framer. I'm like, you sure? He wants to do, the framer wants to be, not only a framer, he wants to do electrical and he wants to do plumbing. He goes, I've seen you work hard. I think you'd be a good candidate. So I interviewed with him and he made me a good offer and I go, yeah, let's do it. So I didn't know anything about sales.
Right.
I can install. I'm a good installer. I can run a crew.
Yeah.
But on the sales side, he gave me a set of plans, bid this. I'm like, what? Bid it?
People pay for this stuff?
I'm starting to count all the fittings and like measuring stuff. How much is it? I'm like, and then finally, he ended up hiring a sales guy. Which was, thank goodness, because and basically they hired him from another competitor, a big plumbing company. They hired him in. And me and him looked at what we're doing and the way this framer wanted to go, some of the things he wanted to do, like repipes, and we're all like new construction guys.
Yeah.
We're like, you know what? Let's do this ourselves. Let's go to Corona. Let's start a company, me and you together, and we'll do the same thing we're doing. Virtually what we did is we left that company and we're doing, say, phases of some houses. Yeah. They'd stop the phase in that and they let us do the next phase as a new company.
Yeah.
They didn't like the other guy. We were the company, myself as the installer and the foreman and our superintendent, and the other guy is a sales guy. So that's when we started Bonanza Plumbing. And we've been in Corona. We moved to another place in Corona, and now we're in Norco. Basically, I've been with him since day one. Running the field, we slowly got more work, did a lot of jobs, like we were talking Orange County, LA, Inland Empire, and then he's always hinted, hey, I want to retire someday, I want to get out of it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I kept that in the back of my mind, and then all of a sudden, my son works for us. He's our sales guy, and this owner, or the guy that owned it, needed like a protege, an apprentice to help him with sales. So my son needed a job. He's a little bit over 30 now. And so he went to work for him and did the sales and learned it. And then I was still running the field. And then we're like, hey, we can do this ourselves. So I talked to the guy. I go, hey.
Retirement looks good, huh?
Yeah, either we do this now, this is in 16. I had a little talk with him. And I go, hey, we need to, I'd like to make this happen now. I've got kids that are getting older. They need to go to college. And I go, or in the back of my mind, well, if it didn't work out, we can always start on our own. But thank God we stayed with him because it worked out good. And then ever since then, we came up with a payment plan. And he's still on the payroll. He's a consultant. But it all works out good. I've been running it. This is my 5th year we've been in business. And we've, plumbing business is great. I mean.
Yeah. Well, especially this area where, like you said, new homes are popping up like crazy. I mean, you got jobs forever, for sure. I want to go back a little bit to when you were working for the guy that put you through the ROP program. I mean, you said that he said you're going to come out of it with more knowledge than 90% of the guys that were working there already. Was there something about like why you? I guess that's my question, right? Without being an insulting way, but like, right? Like, but like, what did you push for that? Or was that something that you brought to them?
To several people.
Okay.
So they just kind of like, hey, if anybody wants to do it, this program is out there. It doesn't cost very much. In fact, I challenged the first year. It's a 3-year program. And because I already had some knowledge, 3-4 years in the industry, I didn't need to know what a fitting was you know, like basic. So they let you challenge. So I jumped into the 2nd and 3rd year, and basically they did hands-on labs. They did some classes. You would go down to the sewage treatment plant in Fountain Valley and tour it and find out where everything goes. And then they basically teach you from page 1 of the code book all the way to the end of the code book, the whole entire code.
So how many other guys were there that took advantage of that?
Most of the guys in there were service repair guys. There's very few new construction guys.
Okay.
So you know, obviously there's a group of guys that you just stay with the whole 2 years, and most of them were service and repair. 1 or 2 new construction guys. So I'm like, man, this is, you know, I don't want to really do the service repair. I hear, you know, stories and we would hire some of them and they just couldn't pick it up. They're trying to shine all the fittings and, you know, like make it look nice and clean. I'm like, you know, that's going to get drywall.
Nobody's going to see that.
No one's going to see that. I mean, yeah, we want to do neat, clean work. We want it not to leak. We want it to strap and be quiet. But, you know, we have production. This is production plumbing. We're not, you know, we're not, it's hard for them to do it. I think the other side, a new construction guy who goes service repair is probably a little better because you have a quick pace, you're hustling.
Because if I'm listening to your story, I feel like that was kind of the launching point, right? I mean, it sounds like that was kind of what pushed you on the path you're at now. I mean, down being able to...
beyond just the labor guy.
Yeah, I mean, to understand sizing, I mean, even today, I do most of the engineering myself. So not only, you know, when the recession hit in 08, we went from 0 up to 150 guys.
In 08?
In 08. Well, we started in 94.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So
right.
Actually 96, sorry.
Okay.
Bonanza Plumbing 96. And then when we got to 2008, the recession hit. So we had 150 guys. I was in charge of 150 guys.
For new production, new residential construction. Oh my gosh.
And we... You know, and then
obviously
the recession hit, and we went down to 8 guys in the company. And there were other companies that just went out of business.
Right.
It hit so hard. I went back to the field as an installer. I was just trying to stay out of the office, you know, like make myself busy.
Right.
And so then I'm like, I got to do something else. I got to make myself more valuable. So I went to an ROP, not ROP, but to junior college in Norco and took AutoCAD class. Learned how to be a drafter, learned how... We outsourced, we outsourced our drawings to a guy up in San Francisco. We just send him the plans and he would draw them and send them back, the ISOs. So then I'm like, man, and I had to do all the corrections. I'd white out his stuff and I'm like, you know what? I need to learn this because there's better ways to do this.
Right.
And the architects send you the CAD files. So you just grab the CAD files, you take off the stuff you don't need, and then you just start drawing your plumbing on it. So I learned how to do that just from going to a 1 semester class, took a little bit of drafting, a little bit of architecture, and just had a lot of friends that did it, you know, that I knew. I go, hey, I need advice. How do I get this file? How do I do this? So now it's like there's so many different programs that help you do the plumbing. I still do it in 2D, but the AutoCAD really set me apart where I could not only manage, but I could also do the drawings and do the layout. So I do all the waste, water, gas, everything. So we're still on the smaller side. I mean, probably not too small for you guys, but I mean, we're over 50 guys right now.
That's pretty
decent size.
But,
from 8 to 50, I mean,
we went back up, thank God.
I mean, I feel like 150 is like scary, right?
It was. I mean, we had to promote a few job superintendents. I was overseeing everybody, but you know, we had a good finish superintendent, a couple good rough guys, a fab department. So we're able to, you know, on the new construction side, we do a lot of prefab. We do a lot of prep in advance before we even get to the site. And that's what we're really good at is prefab.
Hanging prefab stuff.
Yeah, and it saves a lot of time. You tend to have the lower beginning wage guys do the prefab. A lot of the guys, my guys, don't want to leave the prefab because they work the same spot every day. You know, it's not as good as pay as the field guys. But
they get that stuff done quick. They know
they work from 6 to 2:30.
Right.
They have good hours. The field guys is, the guys that make the money. They're the installers. So we fab it up, the wastewater, gas, even shower valves we'll fab up. Basically, the things we do is we're doing production homes. So basically, there's 2 to 3 to 4, 5 different plans.
Right.
Every 3rd, 4th, 5th house, you're going to see the same house again.
Interesting.
So we just fab it up. I'll give them the drawings. I'll give them the cut sheets. We have a great yard supervisor that does our sheets on Excel. A lot of these other companies, a little bigger ones, they have like 3D programs.
Yeah.
Where you can draw it on 3D and you can put the fitting in. It's a smart program. It'll do the cut sheets for you.
Yeah.
We used to have a guy like that. It just didn't work out. I mean, eventually we'll probably have to go back to that. When I can hand the reins off to someone I can trust. That's the hard part right now. It's just finding the right guy. I mean, I'm good at it, but my wife would like to see me sometimes. When you're working 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, getting up at 5:30 and getting back to the shop. It kind of wears on you. I'm working a weekend
So from a labor standpoint, where are you most successful finding guys right now?
Our success has been basically word of mouth. So what I'll do, and we've tried the app, or we've tried the
Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all those things,
whatever you can do, the newspaper. Our greatest success has been bringing guys from within. So I'll ask my guys, hey, we could use a few more guys. You guys know anybody that's looking for a job? And most of the time, it'll be new guys that don't know anything. Once in a while, you'll
kind of like you, yeah.
Once in a while, you'll get someone that has experience. They'll walk in the door. Hey, we've heard something about you. We'd like to come work for you. Sometimes it's a guy that's just shopping a job. A lot of these guys will work for you 2 or 3 years. They'll go to another guy 2 or 3 years, and by that time, they think they're like the top plumber in town. And they don't know, but us plumbers, we talk, us owners. So, I mean, I try to stay friendly with my competitors. We have it's a housing contractors of California. We get together and we
association, basically.
We get together a couple times a year and we'll talk about issues in our industry. We'll talk about material. We won't share pricing or anything,
right?
But we'll share material issues, labor issues, stuff going on in Sacramento that may affect us. Like there's a push now to get rid of gas for appliances. So we're trying not to.
Hell no.
I know, right?
I cook way too much. I hate electric stovetops.
We need to help lobby.
You need to go move, man.
Man.
He's been talking about moving for a while.
We need to help lobby. No one likes. I don't know anyone that really likes gas. I think we're trying to keep. Now they've switched over to tankless heaters.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all we do is tankless, and that's kind of opened up another area for us to get into, which is water treatment.
Yeah.
So we do the new construction plumbing, but now in the last couple of years, we've started a water treatment department, which kind of makes sense because homeowners, when they move in, they're worried about the hardness of the water, drinking water. The tankless heaters need to be descaled once a year. So you can have a plumber pump vinegar through for a half hour. You can get a heater treater, which is a filter in line. And you just change a filter out once a year. Or you can get a water softener, which would take care of your whole house, soften the water. You have
the big salt bins and stuff.
It does have a salt container, but it has a membrane in it that basically it's good for your faucets, your appliances, and you don't need to descale your tankless heater. And then we also get into the reverse osmosis for drinking water. But the tankless heaters really opened a big market for us because if you don't descale those tankless annually, it's like changing oil in your car. If you don't maintain it, it's gonna cause bigger issues later on. And those tankless heaters aren't cheap.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're efficient. They heat water on demand, but they require maintenance. And because they superheat the water, it causes more scaling.
Right.
So you really need. So that's really opened up a door that we can get the water treatment side of it going too.
So from a new construction standpoint, then are these kind of things that you're involved in on the design process before you guys start building? As far as, hey, you guys have this set up, but I think something like this might work a little bit better, or that Is that something you guys are involved in, or are you guys strictly?
There's some builders we work for that we're involved in the value engineering, they call it. So it's like up front before the plans even, before the job is even let out.
What kind of systems are?
They'll allow us to come in, and they kind of give us a last look at a job too.
Yeah.
If we do that, so we come in and we make suggestions because they have mechanical engineers draw it up.
Right.
Especially, we do a lot of multifamily, so we're doing 3-story townhomes.
Right.
We can do the detached homes, the simpler homes, but our niche is a 3-story townhome. Seems to be 65-70% of our business.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the more complex systems.
So they're a little bit more complicated. Not all the plumbers can do it. Not all of them want to do it. There's more sound requirements. The gas meters are all on one side of the building, so you're running gas all the way across the garages. A lot of times we do medium pressure gas. And then each of them have a separate sewer, but it goes up three stories. And sometimes there's cast iron needs to go up in LA. It's all metal all the way up through the roof. Some areas, usually there's one floor of metal pipe they require for fire protection.
Right. Yeah.
But they allow us they invite us in to help them with the value engineering. So we'll make suggestions to them, because the mechanical engineers they're doing the plumbing, electrical, heating, and they're not contractors.
Right.
So we know, hey, put a 2x6 wall here. You got a 3-inch, it needs to come up. Add a pop out. There's a beam in the way. I mean, there's a lot to think about in plumbing. You got structural. You got sizing. You got
like you said too, the sound part of it.
Yeah, where the bathroom is. So I mean, there's a lot of upfront work we have to do. I have to look at the concrete plans. I got to look at the structural plans. And then you got to look at the plumbing plans to see, because it's usually drawn up, but typically we don't follow those to the T. They're not really made for fab. They're made for just a guidance.
Right.
Sometimes you can change things, you can modify it. So that's my job on the engineering side.
So this value engineering, is this something that you guys are doing kind of like pro bono, or is this part of like a consulting part that then wraps itself into a job later on? How does that work?
It's mostly pro bono.
Okay.
Just kind of
value engineering.
They could have our competitor in there doing it, and they have a foot up on us. So we have a couple builders that will do all their value engineering. I don't charge them.
Yeah. I love that.
It's just like
kind of a marketing expense.
It's a marketing thing. Yeah. It does take time. I mean, it takes me 4, 5, 6, 7 hours and I'll make notes on a PDF and send it to them, or we'll get together. We used to get together before COVID and at a table like this.
Everybody touching everything and talking.
The electrician, the HVAC.
What a crazy world that was, right? With everybody touching all this.
They'd all give us a little, okay, you got 20 minutes to talk about what you want to do on the plumbing. So it's good, and you get to meet the builders. You get to, and you're up on the front side of the job, so hey, this job's coming up. Make sure the gas goes up and over and down. That's not easy. So make sure you bid for that, because we already have like a foot up on our competitors, because we've been
you have intimate knowledge of the
so I mean, it pays. Sometimes we'll do some plan check drawings. Now that is, like I was telling you, these 3-story units, they'll have a mechanical engineer draw them up. Sometimes we'll do plan check drawings, and usually I sub it out to somebody. It's just simple sketches. But if we don't get the job, sometimes we'll just charge them for that.
Yeah.
But on the value engineering side, it just pays to be part of that process.
What's I'm just curious. What's the percentage of those value engineer jobs that actually turn into work?
More than half.
That's
than half.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's smart.
We work for some good builders, and we're not the cheapest plumber.
Right.
But there's some other companies that...
I don't want the cheapest. I was going to say, coming from the guy that lives in Ladera, and everybody on their streets had to repipe in the last
plumbing
5
is
years,
why you move out of houses.
Right.
We try to tell the builders, hey, you don't want to go cheap on plumbing, but it's competitive. The market we're in is very competitive. There's some guys that can really go low, but we see the numbers and we're like, we can't. And there's some piece workers. Believe it or not, there's piecework plumbing. They pay the guys by piece to install underground, top out waste, finish. And
so
we're an hourly
as
company.
fast as they possibly can.
So they're in a hurry. They're in a hurry. They get a voucher. You get $200 to do that unit, no matter you take 4 hours or 10 hours. You get $200. So it saves the company some money, but in the back end, they have guys hurrying up to put it in. You have to have a great quality control department. They usually have several service vans. They have to go back and service everything. We have one service guy, and he's part-time. He concentrates on the water treatment's kind of taken off.
Yeah.
We use a local company in Brea. It's called Fallskin. We use their products. And it's kind of taken off. So half the time he's doing that, half the time he's doing service calls. So he pays for his wage.
Right.
And, like I said, we're not the cheapest guy, but we believe in quality plumbing, servicing the customer, giving a value and service to what we do. And we feel a lot of companies like that, but it is a competitive market. So there'll be a guy that just low bids to get his foot in the door. And we're like, we can't get down that low. We want to make some money. Our guys have, we have benefits for our guys. And
well, then that's probably why you have the quality plumbing, right? Like you're not just hiring anybody. But feel free to plead the fifth on this one. But from a builder standpoint, does that reputation, do they care about that at any point, right? Like do they care that they're the builder in Ladera Ranch that has 500,000 repipes in the last 3 years? Like, you know what I mean? Do they care, or are they just kind of?
Well,
I guess are there some that do and some that don't?
Some that do, some that don't. We try to do the work for the ones that. Yeah, we want builders that pay their bills on time.
Right.
We have one builder that pays every 15 days. You get it, and they deposit into your account.
Yeah. Direct deposit 15 days. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's really good.
90.
Some of them are 30 days out, which is about average. Is 30 days you get paid, and they have draws. So you're doing you usually get 5 draws. You get a ground draw, a couple top out draws. You get a finish draw, and you get a retention draw.
Yeah.
So it's geared towards you get a lot of your money up front to do the underground. You get a little bit more in the top out, and you get a little at the end for the finish, and that kind of keeps you going. But the builders, they're key for us. Some of them do go really cheap, and they just want the cheapest guy. And we have some builders changing their formula, like they want to go cheap now. And some of them are known for doing quality homes, work, and we used to do a lot of value engineering for them, and now they're like, well, we can only take the cheapest guy. So we're like, well, we're probably not going to do any more work for you. We just can't. Yeah. We can't make ends meet and go that low. And I go, plus, like you're saying, your house, and the plumbing you have, if you're a homeowner moving in, you want value, but do you want the cheapest guy that's going to do cut corners? And like I said, we're an hourly wage company. We have benefits for our guys. We have health insurance, a 401k. We have trucks for our foremen. Our foremen get paid vacation. We have a couple parties a year. We got a Christmas party, a company birthday party in the summer. We do a fishing trip here and there. We'll do some fun stuff. Yeah. And we make it interesting. And like I said, I've been down the trenches. I still go out. Yeah. If I have to do a call, I was out the other night till 1:30. We got a service call on Lake Elsinore, and I live pretty close. So I'm like, I'll go out there. And it was a stoppage. A lady was pregnant. So we wanted to make sure we took care of it. And
is that on some sort? Do you guys warranty them for like a certain number of months or years or whatever?
We have the warranty on stoppages is normally 30 days. But what we'll do is before occupancy is we'll camera the lines.
Right.
So we
every unit you camera every unit.
Wow. We have to camera the lines.
Is that
a quality thing?
It's built into the contract. Most of the contracts require.
So they're requiring you to do it. Okay.
Yeah, which is a good idea because the lines are clear. You camera from the clean out all the way out to the sewer tie-in. You make sure it's clear, but sometimes the houses sit 4 weeks or 3 or 4 months before they moved in. So you don't know. A tile guy, someone gets there, drops a rag, and stops it up, and then people move in, and this lady, she was pregnant, and it was in Lake Elsinore, and it was my service guy. I tried to get in touch with him, and he was like, I'm sleeping, it's like 11 o'clock. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go check it out. And it ended up just being a stoppage. And so I called another friend that unfortunately had his phone next to his bed, and he picked it up. He does service repair. He's a good friend of mine. I take care of him. I give him a lot of calls. If I don't want to do it, I'll feed him some local service calls, because being a plumber, you always have friends. You always have someone that wants some work done, and so he's a good Christian guy. So I'm like, hey,
he'll be honest.
You can have all my work, and he takes care of him. And then he's like the praying service guy. He'll do the service and pray for him too at the same time. So
that's awesome.
It's good to have friends like that.
Yeah,
need a lot of friends.
So since you've taken over 5 years, what are there things you've changed, things you've done differently, maybe from a management structure, or things you guys do now that maybe you weren't before?
I kind of changed the logo a little bit, but that's not a big thing. Well, not a whole lot. I mean, we had a good,
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
I mean, he was from a huge company in Riverside, and he came and we started this together, and we kind of just followed what we knew, what worked. So I really haven't changed a whole lot. I mean, what he did worked. He gave me all of his bidding programs, all of his tracking for job costing. We're very precise on our job costing. Each job gets a number. We can track it, the material. We can track the labor, the subcontract, overhead. So each job gets a number, and everything goes to the number, the labor, and everything, and we can track it. So that program that he designed is really helpful.
That's
just
cool.
You got to know what you're doing. If we're not making money, we either need to ask for an increase, or stop doing it, or remember next time, if we're doing the same type of units, you have to raise your prices.
Yeah.
And right now, material is really through the roof right now. So that's,
So kind of maybe speak to that a little bit, because I mean, I have to imagine stuff that you're bidding, you're probably not starting for months, if not years away, right? I mean,
typically it's, once we get a job, they usually give us 2 weeks to a month. Sometimes you get a couple months, but typically because they usually wait to the last second
to give it to you.
They'll have 3 or 4 bids, and they'll talk to you. All right, you're pretty close. Can you discount it a little bit, or they'll work with you. We kind of know
that's
the
that
ones
last look kind of that they give you. Yeah.
When we do the value engineering, that helps because you'll get. Yeah. Remember, you did the value engineering, so we appreciate that, and but typically once you get it, you only have a few weeks. So I have to
start fabbing right away.
I mean, once in a while you get a couple month leadway. But you need to start designing it, which is good. We're not waiting forever.
Yeah.
But when you need work, you got to go out and get it. So.
So kind of on that, what have you seen recently in the last obviously year that we've been in this social experiment? How's your workflow been and job bidding and that pipeline look for you?
Thank God we did diversify a little bit. So we went out and got some more builders right before COVID hit. So we had some other projects that were going. We had this Lake Elsinore one that was like 143 units that was going right when COVID hit. We had a few more builders that kind of work more in the hard times. So they keep going. And basically our industry only paused for a week or two.
I was going to say, it was pretty quick.
And then all of a sudden we're essential workers now.
Back to work.
Which we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, are we all going to send people home? And so basically, a lot of supply houses, a lot of manufacturers stopped their products, stopped producing, like tankless heater manufacturers. Mm-hmm. They just thought it was going to be, start laying people off. And then all of a sudden, no, the market's going.
Yeah.
The rates are low.
Yeah.
Ramp everything back. By the time they ramp it up, it kept going. But now,
everyone's
as today, it's hard to get tankless heaters. The rates are still low. I mean, you put a house on the market right now in Southern California, it's going to move within a week.
Yeah,
the market's hot right now, and there's low inventory. There's not enough housing out there to supply everyone that wants a house. Right. And the rate, like I said, the rates are low.
Yep.
But the material's going up. So that's a thing. We can't get caught, it's hard to get a lot of PEX pipe that we use for the water. It's hard to get ABS pipe. It's hard.
Is that the material issues? Is that kind of a amalgamation of that's a big word.
Yep.
Wow. Is that the combination of like you were talking about the rates being so low, the housing market being so hot, and COVID, or is it
one or the other?
Yeah. I mean, what is that?
I think COVID a little bit because people like new things, especially with COVID. They want something clean, something no one's used before. Mm-hmm. That and the rates still being low, the interest rates.
People buying on the rate.
In Southern California, I mean, we're kind of in a down market for a few years, and all of a sudden it slowly picked back up. So the inventory was basically really low. There wasn't much inventory there.
Yeah.
So the low inventory, the rates being low, and people do like new things.
Yep.
And
perfect combination.
Yeah, it's a perfect combination for the industry that we're in.
So I heard you say you kind of diversified a little bit right before last March. Bringing on a few new builders that you were working with. Where are you? obviously the builders is where you're getting your work, right? That's who's coming to you looking for you to do jobs for them. But where are you finding those relationships? How are you seeking them out? Where does that start for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. Basically, we have to go get the work. No one's calling us.
Right.
Typically not. So that's the part that I'm not used to all the way, which I can do sales, but it's not my forte.
Yeah. Right.
So especially new customers, but a lot of times these purchasing agents that work for a builder that we worked for before will move on to another company, and they'll kind of suggest
those
us.
Relationships, yeah.
And plus, we've had good ratings. Last year, we were rated number 1 in rate trades. They rate plumbing trades, electricians.
Who does that?
It's called Rate Trades. It's a rating agency. A lot of the builders use it just to rate plumbers, and we work for a couple of good builders that rate high in the Alliance surveys for the homeowners. They'll send a survey out 6 months or a year after they move in, and they'll house the plumbing, house electrical, house everything. And a lot of these builders, a couple of the ones that we work for, they're getting number 1 builder every year. So they bring us up too. That's the guy you want to work for. Yeah, that's the guy I want to work for.
Yeah.
And it keeps our rating high, which is great. We can kind of use that as a sales incentive but we're not for everybody. We don't want to, like we talked about, we want to be the cheapest guy in town. Yeah. We want to do, sell the quality workmanship. Right. Like I said, I have benefits for my guys. I like to keep that, and I have great workforce. I mean, we've had some guys with us past 20 years. We're hitting 25 years this summer in business, and they're our best salesmen. They bring their brothers, they bring their cousins, they bring when they're happy.
Yeah,
they'll bring their family in.
Bring the whole family.
Yeah, and everyone's making money. I mean, I have over 50 guys that work for me, and it's a lot of mouths to feed. But thank God, that there's a business here that we can provide for.
And you said your son's involved?
My son is involved. He kind of he went to college at University of Redlands. And after college, he kind of didn't know what he wanted to do, like a lot of us.
I was the same way.
And he kind of drifted for a year or so. Wayward. And I'm like, hey, we got a job here, and it doesn't pay much. It's a laboring wage, but why don't you at least you can stay busy? And then the other owner said, hey, I need some guy I can train that I can show how to do these sales and estimating. So I'm like, hey, let's
opportunity,
go. Yeah. Get in there, and you can learn. And he picked it up quick. He worked for him 4 or 5 years, and then that's when he just morphed right into our sales position. And he's doing a great job. I have a great staff. I have my sister works for me. She's in she does office work. We have a yard guy, a purchasing agent that buys all of our material. I have a great job superintendent that oversees everything. And then I kind of wear 2 or 3 hats: the engineering, the boss, and And I like getting out there. It's a little tough sometimes. You get out there because then you kind of get, hey, boss is here, ask for a raise, And I kind of like go incognito. I kind of wear a T-shirt, put a hard hat on, and try to like hide, and because I'm, walking the gas or something. Because like I said, we'll prefab everything, so we try to prefab the gas each phase, and we have to walk it and get the measurements correct. But I've heard a lot of the builders like to see the owner on the site, which is good. A lot of, like the other company I worked for before this one, would see the owner like maybe once a year. So, and you'd always get excited. The owner's coming, and you could show off. And then I knew he got hit on too for raises. So, and you kind of, it's part of the business. I don't mind rewarding guys if they work hard, but there's no like limit to what they can make. It's kind of by their ability. And we do our best to help them purchase tools. Our industry, you have to have good tools, and they're specialty tools. So sometimes they cost $500, $800 for a good tool that, on the PEX side expands a pipe. Drills now, they're all cordless. So in my day, it was all corded drills. Now it's all cordless technology. Milwaukee makes some good cordless tools. Rigid does also. So, and they're a big cost item, and some of companies will provide those for them. Most of them don't now, but the other one I came from did, and you don't take care of them as much as if you own it.
As if it's yours,
So we actually help them. I don't charge anything extra. Just slowly take it out of their check. If they want a combo kit or if they want a specialty item, we'll help them get the tools, and then it's going to help me because they're working quicker.
Yeah.
They have their tools sooner, and then they learn it faster. They can, they'll be good installers. Like you were saying about the workforce, how I get my guys.
Yeah.
We just train them slowly, and then, sooner or later, you're good journeyman or even a foreman someday.
Well, and I feel like if you take care of your people, that translates to the product and the service that you're performing, right? So if you've got good people that trust you and you trust, essentially our family, right? Some of these guys being around 20 years, that translates into that workflow. They're not going to be the guys that are doing the piece rate stuff. They're the guys that are working good, solid hours, that are putting good, solid work. And it keeps, there's so many benefits that come out of that, right? Yeah. You've got a good workplace, you've got a good workforce, you have less chances of getting sued, but for some crazy, that's
California reason.
Yeah. But you guys know about that, but
unfortunately we do. But
that's the part that keeps me up at night. The liability part, because you're on the hook for 4 years, and then even after that, some of the builders even honor, and we'll come back in and. We're not perfect. We still have problems, but
statute of repose is 10 years. You can be brought into a lawsuit if 10 years past.
You can. Yeah. But typically with our builders, it's 4 years. Yeah. But there's a lot of sleepless nights. I have.
That's why you're answering calls for Lake Elsinore.
You're worried about the liability. That's what And unfortunately, we do work for builders, and if you have a problem, they back charge you. Yeah. Take it out of your next draw.
Yeah.
And you're like. Okay,
still got to pay my people.
It hurts, man. It hurts. And when I wasn't in this position, my boss would get them, and I felt bad.
The desk, whatever.
I felt bad, but I'm like, okay,
I'm still getting paid, right?
But now I'm in that position. I'm like, oh man, that really hurt, and like I said, thank God we do the best we can. We have good guys. We take care of them. So on the most part, no one's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
But on the most part. We do good plumbing, and my guys know what we want. We have a good quality control guy, walks behind everybody, and will walk stuff and make a list up, try to be as thorough as possible. Once it gets drywalled and covered up,
you're done.
Yeah, you're done. So, and we have a good finish crew that comes in, and I have 4 or 5 guys that just set finish only. So they'll set the toilets, the sinks, the tankless heaters. They're that's all they do, and they specialize in it. They know how it needs to be level, straight, caulked good. They'll check for hot and cold water, make sure each fixture is good, toilet flush is good, kind of make us look good on the rough side.
Yeah.
But they're my specialty guys that know how to finish the houses. So we specialize in things like my rough crew will do the underground and they'll do the top out. And I got separate guys that do the finish. So it's really helpful to. Usually the finish guys can go on the rough, but the rough guys can't go to finish.
Right.
They just don't.
They don't have the patience.
And I used to do a lot of finish. The other company I came from, we did everything. We did the prefab on the site. We did. I did the underground. I did the top out, and I did the finish. So you took a little more pride because you're going to set finish on whatever you roughed in.
Yeah.
So you're like,
I'm going to make sure it's right. So
make sure that toilet's centered. Make sure the stub outs are correct. Make sure because you're going to set finish and they were bonusing us on how productive we were and how much labor we saved. So to learn that way really helped me progress too, because I had the whole enchilada. A lot of these guys are only doing, like the rough, and they never really see the finish, but it's kind of the way it
reminds me of the story. I think I talked to I don't know if it was a plumber or a electrician. Either way, it was either conduit or pipe, but they were a union contractor. And he said he had a guy come in from the union and expect him to be able to do everything. And all the guy did was the tie hangs or for hanging. I don't know if it was conduit or plumbing, one of the two, right? But so he comes back after a day with this guy on the job and he done every hanger, and every single one of them was perfect. The guy said every single one of them perfect, but he couldn't do anything else on the job because that's all he's done. Been in the union for 25 years, and he found one thing he was good at, and that's all everybody used about it. Yeah, he just didn't think to ask, hey, can you do the whole job, or are you just doing part of it? Because he came back, every single one was absolutely perfect, but that was the only thing he could do. So,
I got 2 weeks of hanging. That's it. That's it. You don't know anything else? Yeah. I'll call you in another month. You don't want to do that. You want to make yourself more valuable.
Yeah, for sure. So being in plumbing, we've heard some crazy plumbing stories. I got to imagine you've seen some things and some things that may have happened on the job.
Oh yeah, I mean, we could. How much longer do I got? We could talk the rest of the night. Yeah, it's just dealing with homeowners. I got a couple stories. Dealing with homeowners, they move into a new house. You expect everything perfect,
right?
But once in a while, there's something that's not perfect. There's this one particular house. They had a stoppage in the underground part, so the homeowners were mad. They just moved in, and we do snake and camera, like I said, and they just had a stoppage somewhere in their house, and we isolated. We found it. It was in the underground in their living room, and they had flooring, and they had to pull the flooring and mask everything off, and they're like, "This isn't, you got to put us up in a hotel. You got to." I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. And the lady's all complaining, and the husband's behind her complaining. So we cut the concrete. We get down to the pipe. It's a waste stoppage. So we get down to the pipe, and it's a 90. It's a turn in the line. So they're like, don't even, just cut it and take it outside. Let's see what's in there. So I'm like, okay.
The homeowner wants to see?
Yeah, the homeowner
At this point, I'm just like, fix it.
No, the homeowner's like, this is unacceptable.
Wait, was this the wife or the?
Well, both. But the husband was like.
The husband was behind the wives.
So they were both outside there, and I get, I'm there working on it because I feel bad, and the builder's pressuring us, and I'm just thinking the dollar signs. What's this going to cost to put back together, like the back charges? So we cut it, we take it outside in the backyard, and I just dump it out like really hard, man. And all of a sudden, all this feminine hygiene product pops out. And the man's behind us like, honey, how'd that get there? And she's like, I don't know, and it's like, really? This you're telling me this is our fault? This is our, and then the builder's like, just put it back together, we're gonna pay you. So that was funny, that one went the right way. I mean, but we've had some other, we do production homes, and this one particular job in Red Hill in Temecula, the houses were kind of the same. They're like, if you turned them, reverse them, it's very similar.
Mirrored almost kind of, yeah.
But, they do reverse a house, so it looks a little different.
Right.
So my plumber on the underground trenched it, put the plumbing in, but forgot to reverse it.
Oh, no.
So we put it in, install the plumbing, all of a sudden they start snapping the lines, and everything's out of place. It's all like the 3 inches here, and it should be 20 feet over there. So I'm like, how did this happen? And you're looking at it, you could see if
they already laid the foundation and everything?
Yeah, the concrete's poured.
Oh, gosh.
The wall, the builder's like, oh my gosh. And that's the first and only time that's happened. But, you check your work, but if it's very similar. So now I'm like, and I engineer it. I try to put on one side so you can see it and do so detailed drawings. But all the concrete had to be cut up. You had to try to make stuff work. It just stuff like that. Troubleshooting things. I mean, it's just part of the plumbing business, but that's, like I said, that stuff keeps me awake at night sometimes. The ownership, I love it because it opens you up to a lot of opportunities. I can help more. I have some charities that I help. Some vendors will take you on some trips and things that, it's just part of the business, and you get to meet people. We went to Germany. We go to New Hampshire, do some training, in Hawaii. It just opens you up to
new opportunities.
Yeah, I mean that part's great, but it's not why I do it. God's given me the ability to work hard and knowledge, so I give God all the credit for all my success. Yeah. And I get up every day and I'm like, hey God, what do you want me to do today? This is your company, it's not mine. So guide me in what I should do. If I'm successful, fine. If I'm not, that's your will. Yeah. So I don't really worry about it. Yeah, I lose sleep sometimes on these other issues, but I know I have good guys, and I know God's looking out for me. So there's really no way I can go wrong.
Nothing like a humble heart. Yep.
So where's the future headed? Where are you planning on taking this? I mean, it's only been 5 years, right? But 5 years with a pretty successful company.
I have a 17-year-old son.
There you go.
So he's going to need a job soon. I have a 21-year-old daughter. And then my 30-year-old son works for me. So,
you got the legacy plan.
Yeah. It wears on you after a while. You know, just being in ownership for 5 years, it does wear on you. There's times I don't like to get up at 4:45 in the morning and get to work. But it's good. You get to see all the guys in the morning. Everyone comes into the shop, a lot of guys, and then we send them out on their jobs. That part, is tough, but the success, helping guys out. Once in a while, they'll hit me up for a loan. I'm able to help them.
Yeah. That's the rewarding
I feel
part,
for guys. I mean, it's tough out there. The COVID has kind of affected us a little bit, but I've had a few guys that contracted it.
Yeah.
And we're able to help them out, pay for a couple weeks off, help their families. There's a lot of guys that hurt and need help, and I'm just in a great position where I can, help people like that. And like I said, I'm a believer in God, and I know that He's looking out for me. And sometimes I say, hey, maybe this is why I'm in that position to help this guy out. And I've come from the bottom all the way to the top, so I know how it all is.
Yeah.
So aside from kind of maintaining this to be able to support the family and obviously the employees and the family that you have there, is there growing as far as geographically maybe, or new areas, or?
I think the water treatment stuff is gonna be a good supplement. Obviously, it's not our bread and butter is the plumbing side, but I do like the water treatment side. We don't have a lot invested, but it's a big need for homeowners. Mm-hmm. As far as the new construction side, with the rates low,
just got plenty of work where you're at right now, right?
My sales guy doesn't have to work too hard for work. I mean, you do have to bid. I always have them bidding work, even if we're not going to get it. It's basically a business card.
You get the reputation, and
So in a lot of builders will take 4 or 5 bids, even though we're not, like I said, we're not the cheapest guy. I know we're not going to get it. But at least you know who's bidding it.
Getting your name out there.
Getting your name out there. Yeah. It does take effort. It does take work, but it's just part of the process. And you keep doing, good work, having good guys. I hardly have anybody leave our company. If they do leave, they end up coming back, just because they like how we treat people. Yeah. Like I said, our foremen have trucks and all the benefits, and our guys, we try to take care of them.
Yeah.
And do as much as you can for them. And the future, like I said, it's not up to me, it's up to God. I leave it in God's hands, but I'm just going to keep working hard and doing the best I can.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Well, we appreciate the time. It's been awesome. Why don't you, before we let you run.
I do have a couple of gifts for you guys.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know if you want to.
A couple levels for you guys.
Oh, levels are good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
A couple Bonanza hats.
So the hats I love. This is awesome.
A couple shirts.
Very cool.
Love it.
Yeah, this is awesome stuff. Yeah. Do you guys do anything else as far as marketing or branding, or digitally, or any of that kind of stuff?
We've done a couple. We have a Facebook site.
Okay.
We have a website. bonanzaplumbing.com. My daughter just helped me last night get our Instagram going.
There you go.
She's very good at that.
I was going to say, we're going to tag you everywhere, so you better be ready to go.
Yeah, as far as with the builders, like I said, we have to go get the work. So is your cup? That's almost level.
A little bit, almost.
But we'll do some events. I like to help like local high schools. We've sponsored some teams. We made for the BIA event.
This is cool.
So we'll do a lot of builder events. We'll try to get our name out. We have a lot of vendors that come see us, so we'll ask them, hey, who's doing work right now? Where are they at? A lot of reps for material and things come visit us. So we'll pick their brain. And I don't want to be the biggest plumber in town. I just want to keep doing a good job and stay in my lane.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to following your Instagram and seeing how that goes.
I appreciate you guys having me out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Let everybody else know where to find you, how to get a hold of you.
Basically, we're in Norco,
okay,
and we serve Southern California area. So the Inland Empire, Orange County, we even go into LA County. And homeowners can look for us at bonanzaplumbing.com, even builders. We have a builder and a homeowner link there.
Cool.
So they can see some of the work we've done. And that's about it. I mean, they can call us. Our number's on our website.
Very cool, man.
To get in touch with us. And, we're not afraid to do anything. We've done hotels, restaurants. And right now we're in the residential side, which seems to be a great place to be right now. Right?
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate it. It's been great.
Yeah, thanks
you guys
for
taking the time.
Appreciate the
Thanks
time.
Thanks, Ray, for coming, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Stay safe out there. Appreciate it.
You look good with the hat on.
Thanks. I do. I feel like I do.
Hey, thanks for listening. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.